Today I am going to teach you new topic in social science history chapter number 5, that is kingdom, kings and an early republic. Through this chapter we try to understand about what is meant by government. Means, as we know that India is a democratic country, we choose our leaders through the pattern of election. Through the voting, we will choose our representative. So here in our textbook, they give you the example of Shankaran. Shankaran is a child like you. He is also excited to know about election. Here I start this chapter through this example. Election day. Shankaran woke up to see his grandparents all ready to go and vote. They wanted to be the first to reach the polling booth. Yes, the grandparents they are waiting and they are eagerly going for voting because they wanted to choose their representative. Why? Because Shankaran wanted to know why they are so excited. Why they are so excited? Somewhat impatiently his grandparents explained, we can choose our own rulers today through the pattern of voting. So here first we try to understand about ancient time. How some men become rulers in past time. So here around 3000 years ago, what happened? Some of the Rajas were probably chosen by the Jana. What is mean by Jana? Jana means the people. People choose their leaders, means their kings. Yes, that time they can't do elections. But the person who is brave and able to handle the kingdom, they choose this person as a king. So here, choosing leader or rulers by voting is something that has become common during the last 50 years or so. So how did man become ruler in the past? Here we already discussed that there are two types of government. In ancient time there are monarchies. What is meant by monarchies? Monarchies means the system of government or ruled by a king or a queen. But nowadays we can't choose Rajas, means a king or queen, but rather than that we are choosing a leader who handles the country through the constitution. Yes, in our constitution we frame all the rules and regulations, and according to this all the people follow their responsibilities, this rules and regulations. So here we find some changes taking place in the ways in which Rajas were chosen. Some men now become recognized as Raja by performing very big sacrifices. In ancient time, what is mean by sacrifices? Means they pray to God when they went to war or battles. The Ashwamedh or horse sacrifice was one such ritual in ancient time. A horse was let down to wander freely. It was guarded by the Raja's men. Yes, and if the horse wandered into the kingdom of the other Rajas or the other Rajas stopped the horse and they stopped it, they had to fight with the current Rajas. If they allowed the horse to pass, it means that they accept the Rajas who wanted to perform the sacrifices, was stronger than them. Yes, in this way they choose their rulers, which was performed by special trained priests. Yes, already we discussed about different varnas. In our society, the honorable varnas means the superior ones are priests. They decided the different varnas. So here they give the importance to priests who were rewarded with gifts. The Raja The Raja who organized the sacrifice was recognized as being very powerful, and all those who came brought gift for him. Yes, other people give gift to Raja, and in this way they participated in sacrifices, means in yagyas. The Raja was a center figure in this ritual. He often had a special seat, a throne or a tiger skin. His charioteer, who was his companions in the battlefield and witnessed his exploits, means they chanted tales of his glory. They choose their powerful leaders and they organize different sacrifices. Through these sacrifices, people are attending, means other rajas also accepting the king, and then they gave gift to this rajas. His relatives, especially his wives and sons, had to perform a variety of minor rituals also. The other rajas were simply spectators who had to sit and watch the performance of the sacrifice or the rituals. Priests performed the rituals, including the sprinkling of sacred water on the king. The ordinary people, means the Vish or Vaishyas, also brought gift. However, some people, such as those who were regarded as Shudras by the priest, were excluded for many rituals. Means Shudras are not allowed to attend this kind of sacrifices or rituals. So, who attend this kind of functions? Generally priests, means the Brahmins, then Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. These three Varnas attend this kind of sacrifices. Here in detail we study about Varnas. We have many books that were composed in North India. Already we discussed about different Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sham Veda and Atharva Veda. These are the ancient book which gives us lot of information about past. So, especially in the areas drained by the Ganga and Yamuna. During this period, these books are often called later Vedic because they were composed after the Rig Veda, about which you already learned in chapter number 4. This includes the Sham Veda, Yajur Veda and Atharva Veda, as well as other books. These were composed by priests and describe how rituals were to be performed in the ancient time. Yes, already we discussed about sacrifices. Example, Ashwamedha Yajna. They also contain rule about society. Here, there were several different groups in the society at this time. So, here generally we are talking about priests and warriors, means the rulers, then farmers, traders, herders, then we are talking about craft person, laborers, fishing folk and forest peoples. They are also participated in kingdoms. Means they follow all the rules and regulation. Some priests and warriors, they were rich because they are considered as a superior one. As for some farmers, traders and other include many herders, craft persons, laborers, fishing folk and hunters and gatherers were very poor. Because you see here different varnas. According to this varnas, we consider people according to their work. We divided into different groups. The priest divided people into 4 groups. It is called as varnas. So here first we try to understand the total 4 varnas are there in our society in ancient time. So first Varnas is Brahmin. Brahmin means a priest. The second Varnas is a Kshatriya. Kshatriya means rulers, Rajas. Third one is Vaishyas. Vaishyas means who perform different activities like farmers, traders, craft person, and last one is Shudras. Shudras means untouchable persons. So in this way we divided our society into 4 Varnas, means 4 groups. So in detail here we study about this 4 Varnas. The first Varna was the Brahmin. Brahmin were expected to study and teach the Vedas. Already they formed this Vedas. Perform and sacrifice and receive gift from the Rajas. In the second place were the rulers, means the Kshatriyas. What they did here? What they done? They were expected to fight, battle and protect peoples of their kingdom. So in this way, rulers are the main person who is elected as a ruler, means a king or queen. They are the Kshatriyas. The third were the Vish or Vaishyas. They were expected to do farmers, herders, traders. Both the Kshatriya and the Vaishyas could perform sacrifices in our society. Here we are talking about last were the Shudras. Shudras who had served the other 3 groups and could not perform the rituals. They could not participate the sacrifices because they are considered as a untouchable person. Often women were also grouped with the Shudras. Both women and Shudras were not allowed to study the Vedas. Even priests, they can't allow the Shudras to enter into the villages. Even they don't have right to went into the temples or other people's house. They can't attend the functions and rituals in our society. The priest also said that these groups were decided on the basis of their work or the birth. For example, if one's father and mother were Brahmin, one could automatically become a Brahmin and so on. So in this way, later they classified some people as untouchable, means the Shudras. We are talking about Shudras. This includes some craft person, hunter, gatherers, as well as people who help perform burial and cremations. So the priest said that contact with this group people are polluting other ones. So many people did not accept the system of Varnas. Yes, nowadays we consider all as equally because we follow our constitution, and in our constitution we consider each and every people as a equal. We get a equal rights. But if we compare this current period with the ancient time, so at that time they follow Varnas, and many people oppose this kind of Varnas, this kind of bias. Many people did not accept the system of Varna laid down by the Brahmins. Some king thought they were superior to the priest, and others felt the birth could not be basis for deciding which Varna people among people based on their occupations. Yes, if you are the child of potters, you can't change your profession. They are only doing pottery. Okay, they are only making pottery business. Others felt that everybody should be able to perform rituals, and others condemned the practice of untouchability. Means we can't get rights to Shudras. So in this way you saw there are different Varnas, means of 4 Varnas in our society. Around thousands of years ago, people lived in groups and they owned cattle. They started growing crops and they started they make different potteries. So in this way, they are started their settlement. They live in a settlement. So here we move to our next point, which is Janpadas and Mahajanpadas. So first we try to understand what is meant by Janpadas. The Rajas who performed this big sacrifices were now recognized as being Rajas of Janpadas rather than Janas. What is meant by Jan? Jan means a people. So here they choose their leaders in a certain group and they perform their duties with the help of different sacrifices. So here the word Janpadas literally means the land where the Jana set its foot and settled down. Some important Janpadas are shown on map 4, which is given in our textbook. So I'll give you some example of this Janpadas. Archaeologists have excavated a number of settlements in this Janpadas, such as Purana Kila in Delhi, Hastinapur near Meerut, then Atranji Kheda near Etah. The last two are in Uttar Pradesh, means Etah and Atranji Kheda are in Uttar Pradesh. So they found that the people live in herds and kept cattle as well as other animals. They also grew variety of crops like rice, wheat, barley, pulses, sugar cane, sesame and mustard seeds. So they made earthen pots. Some of these were grew in color, green color, other were in red. Here one special type of pottery is found at this sites is known as painted grue ware. What is meant by that? Means as it is observed from the name, this grey pots had painted designs using simple lines as well as some geometric patterns they are using in ancient time. So in this way we get information about Janapadas. Now here we get information about what is meant by Mahajanpadas. What is meant by Maha? Maha means a big. About 2500 years ago, some Janpadas became more important than others and known as Mahajanpadas. I will give you some example. Already we study about Magadha. So, through some cities like Gandhara, Magadha, Kuru, Kosala, Panchala, these are Avanti, these are some name of Mahajanpadas. Totally there are 16 Mahajanpadas, means the big cities over there in ancient time. So, some of these are shown in map 4. Most of the Mahajanpadas had a capital city. Many of these were fortified. This means that huge wall of work, bricks or stone were built around them. Yes, they built a big wall around the fort. Forts were probably built because people were afraid of attack from other rulers or other kings and needed protection. It is also likely that some rulers wanted to show how rich and powerful they were by building really a large, tall and impressive wall around their cities. Also in this way, the land and the people living inside the fortified area could be controlled more easily by the king. Means it should be easy to handle all the peoples, and for the safety purpose they built big walls. Building such huge walls required a great deal of planning. Thousands, if not lakhs of bricks and stone had to be prepared. This is termed enormous labors, provides possibly by thousands of men and women and children also work to build this kind of walls, and resource had to be found for all of this. So in Mahajanpadas, thousands of men, women and children and resources had to be found for all of this to make or to build a huge wall of fort. So now the new Rajas now begin maintain armies. Soldiers were paid regular salaries and maintained by the king throughout the year. Some payments were probably made using punch mark coins. So in this way we get information about Mahajanpadas. Now we study about taxes. Which kind of taxes will paid by the ordinary people. So as the ruler of the Mahajanpadas were first, building huge forts. Second, maintaining big armies. They needed more resource and they needed official they collect from the people. So instead of depending on occasional gifts bought by the people, as in the case of the Raja and Janpadas, they started collecting regular taxes. So here we get a detailed information about different taxes. First, our first point is taxes on crops were the most important because maximum peoples are engaged in farming, means they are doing irrigations. So farmers were paid tax which was fixed at 1/6 of what was produced. What they produce, so they paid 1/6 of their produce as a tax. This was known as bhag or share. Second point, craft person. They were also paid tax. This could be in the form of labor. So here craft person were paid tax in the form of labor. For example, a weaver or a smith may have had to work for a day every month for the king. So they work for the king in their kingdom for a one day in a month. Here if we talk about herders, herders were also expected to pay taxes in the form of animals and their animal produce. So in the form of animals and animal produce they pay tax. The fourth example is there were also taxes on goods that were bought and sold through trade, means a business persons also paid tax on goods and their services through trade. And the last point which I will give you information about, and hunters and herders also had to provide forest produce to the Rajas. Whatever they obtained from the forest area, they give some part to the king in the form of taxes. So here we get information, detailed information about taxes. After that, to change in agriculture. If we observe at that time, there were two major changes in agriculture around this time. One was growing use of iron plowshares. They are using iron plow. This means that heavy clay soil could be turned over better than with the wooden plowshare, so that more grain could be produced. And second thing is, people began transplanting paddies. This means that instead of scattering seeds on the ground from which plant would sprout, sapling were grown and then planted in the field. This led to increase the production as well as back-breaking works. Generally slave, man and women, means the dasas and dasyus or dasis, and landless agriculture laborers had to work for this. So here we find some changes, new changes which grow more and more food. Here we are discussing about a closer look means a Mahajanpad, a powerful Mahajanpad, which is Magadha. Magadha became the most important Mahajanpadas. Here we are discussing about which is in about 200 years ago. Many rivers such as the Ganga and the Son flowed through the Magadha. So that's why it is very beneficial for this state, because Mahajanpadas, because they get easily water for irrigation purpose, for drinking purpose. So here they get water from the Son river and from the Ganga river. After that we are discussing about this was important for transport, water supplies, then making the land fertile. Part of Magadha were forested, means the elephant which lived in the forest could be captured and trained for the armies of Magadha. That's why this is the very powerful Mahajanpadas of all the Mahajanpadas. So here forests also provide wood for building houses, carts and chariots. Besides, there were iron ore mines in the region that could be the tap to make strong tools and weapons. This is also, they get benefit of iron, so they can easily make different tools and weapons. So Magadha had two very powerful rulers, means a king. They are very powerful and strong rulers who are Bimbisar and Ajatasattu, who used all possible means of conquer other Janpadas. Mahajanpada, Nanda was another important ruler. He extended his control up to the northwest part of the subcontinent. Rajgriha, now present day, which we are talking about now, Rajgir in Bihar, was the capital of Magadha for several years ago. And after that, the capital was shifted to Patliputra, which is now present day in Patna. So more than 2300 years ago, a ruler named Alexander, who come from foreign country, means who come from Europe, wanted to become the world conqueror. Of course, he didn't conquer the world, but did conquer the part of Egypt and West Asia. He won this part and came to the India subcontinent, reaching up to the bank of the Beas river. When he wanted to march further eastward, his soldiers refused to went there because they were scared, as they had heard that the ruler of India, means in the Mahajanpada of Magadha, had vast armies of foot soldiers, chariots and elephants, because this is the very powerful kingdom of that time. So that's why other armies, they can't able to won this area. After that we are talking about another Mahajanpadas, a closer look to Vajji. While Magadha become very powerful kingdom, here we are talking about Vajji with its capital at Vaishali, now it is in Bihar, was under a different form of government known as Jana or Sangha. What is mean by Jana? Jana means is used for a group that has many members, and Sangha means organization or association. So here in Vajji you saw a different kinds of government is there. In a Jana or Sangha there were not only one but many rulers are there. Sometimes even when thousands of men ruled together, each one was known as Raja. Yes, here you saw many rulers are there in Vajji Sangh. These Rajas performed rituals together. They also met in assemblies and decide what had to do or done and how. Yes, this is the unity of different group of people. Through decisions and debate, for example, if they were attacked by our enemies, they met to discuss what should be done to meet the threat. However, women, dasas and kamakaras could not participate in these assemblies. Yes, as we know that women can't get right to participate in assemblies. Both the Buddha and Mahavira, about whom you will read in chapter number 6. In next chapter you read about Gautam Buddha and Mahavira, belongs to the Ganas or Sanghas. Some of the most vivid description of life in the Sanghas came to found in Buddhist book. So through this cultures you get a detailed information about Vajji Sangh. Here we are discussing about the Digha Nikaya, which is the book, a famous Buddhist book from the Vajji Sangh, which contains some of these speeches of the Buddha. These were written down about 2300 years ago. Now we are talking about Ajatasattu and the Vajjis. They both are the people, the different group of people. Ajatasattu wanted to attack the Vajjis. He sent his minister named Vasakara to the Buddha to get his advice on the matter. The Buddha asked whether the Vajjis met frequently in full assemblies. When he heard that they did, he replied that the Vajjis would continue to prosper as long as, first point, they held full and frequent public assemblies. Yes, there are many rulers. Second, they met and acted together. Third point, they followed established rules. Fourth one, they respect and supported and listened to the elders. Here we are talking about Vajjis, Vajji people. Vajji women were not held by the force or captured. Then next point, Chaityas were maintained in both towns and village, means peoples are divided to do different activities or different works. Wise saints who follow different beliefs were respected and allowed to enter and leave the country freely. Yes, everybody has a right, means a saint who follow the different beliefs and they have right to move from the other place to place or country. Rajas of powerful kingdoms tried to conquer the Sanghas. This lasted for a very long time till about 1500 years ago, when the last of the Ganas or Sanghas were conquered by the Gupta rulers. After that you saw the Guptas are there, about whom you will read in chapter number 10 in detail. So now here they give extra information about Greece and Athens. These are the extra information. So which kind of government in foreign countries? So around 2500 years ago, what happened? The people of Athens set us a form of government. Nowadays our government is a democratic government. So that time around 2500 years ago they follow the democratic government, which was called as a democratic government, which lasted for about 200 years ago. Totally 200 years they follow this democratic government. All free men over the age of 30 were recognized as full citizens. There was an assembly then, meet as at least 40 times a year to decide on important matters. Here they frame some rules and regulation with the help of their citizen. All the citizens could attend this meeting. Appointment for many possible were made through lottery. All those who wanted to be chosen gave in their names, and then some were selected through lottery system. Citizens were expected to serve in the army and the navy. Here you saw women were not considered as a citizen of Athens, and many foreigners who live in and work in Athens as well as the merchant, craft person did not have the right as a citizens. So here besides there were several thousands slaves in Athens who work in mines, field, household and workshop. They can't treated as a citizen of Athens. So through this chapter you understand about different rulers, their kingdoms, different kinds of governments. I hope through this chapter you learn about Janpadas and Mahajanpadas too. So thank you.